The story begins with a guy named Kai monitoring the graveyard. His friend Ashran asks if he's finished yet, but a girl named Saki, who is with them, remarks that Kai always monitors the graveyard for 300 seconds. Ashran, impatient, wonders if they can be done with it already. Kai firmly responds that they can't rush this. He explains that there are 5 races in their world: mythical beasts, spirits, celestials, demons, and humans. A war once erupted between these races, and they can't risk such a catastrophe happening again. As part of the Urza Federation, they are obligated to monitor this graveyard where demons are sealed. Kai observes that there are no abnormalities in the graveyard, prompting Ashran to comment that Kai is always too serious. Saki, however, is unperturbed, noting that Kai's diligence allows them to take it easy. The 3 of them then drive away. Ashran asks if a sealed demon has ever escaped in the past century. Kai reassures him that it has never happened, emphasizing their duty as part of the Humanity Aegis Agency to keep it that way. Ashran sarcastically points out that their serious supervision of this graveyard won't matter if others aren't watching the remaining 4 graveyards diligently. Kai insists that everyone is taking their responsibilities seriously, and he grimly states that a demon escape would be catastrophic. Ashran agrees, and Saki tries to lighten the mood by reminding them that the world is currently at peace. Kai acknowledges this, but remains dedicated to maintaining that peace. The scene then shifts to the city of Vishal, where Kai and Ashran are training to fight a mythical beast using a machine doll shaped like a dragon. Despite the system warning Kai that he isn't strong enough to face the monster, he persists. His attack fails to harm the beast, and it nearly defeats him until Saki halts the training session just in time. She cautions Kai not to push himself too hard or risk injury. Kai argues that training without taking risks is pointless. Saki compliments him, suggesting that if he had been born during the Great War of the 5 Races, his name might have gone down in history like their hero. They both gaze at a portrait of Sid the Prophet. Kai humbly asserts that he isn't cut out for such greatness. Saki shudders at the thought of the heroes of the other races being around today, unable to imagine a human winning against them. Kai reassures her that they have nothing to fear, as Sid the Prophet defeats all 4 heroes with the shining sword given to him by the prophetic god, Arsla Salaka. Saki expresses skepticism about the legend of Sid the Prophet, noting the lack of photos or videos compared to the heroes of the other races. Kai muses that it would indeed be great if someone like Sid existed. Saki then wakes Ashran, who was napping after his training session, and asks both of them what they plan to do about Jean's promotion celebration. Ashran suggests giving Jean a bouquet of flowers, but Saki disagrees. She explains that Jean, who is transferring to the headquarters of the royal capital of Urzak, and is the youngest ever to be selected at just 17, will surely receive plenty of bouquets from everyone else. They should strive to get her something different. Kai then receives a text from Jean asking him to meet her at 10 the next morning, and to keep it a secret from Saki and Ashran. Saki and Ashran also see the text and teasingly wonder if Kai and Jean are planning something naughty. Kai denies their claims and goes out for a run to get away from them. The next morning, he waits for Jean, who arrives punctually, surprising him as she is usually late by at least an hour. She retorts that being on time is the least she can do since she will be transferring to Urzak next week. Noticing his flashy outfit, she comments on it, and Kai explains that he came straight after his morning training. Jean remarks that Kai might be the only person unfazed about going shopping with her. Kai wonders if she wants to go shopping with someone else, only to realize she is being sarcastic. They begin browsing shops, and Kai learns that Jean wants to buy presents for Ashran and Saki, as this might be the last time she sees them before her transfer. Kai thinks she is exaggerating since her transfer will only last for 2 years, and she will be back after that. However, Jean points out that by then, Saki and Ashran will have completed their military service and become civilians. She and Kai will be the only ones remaining in the Humanity Aegis Agency, and this thought saddens her. Kai tells her not to be so gloomy, reminding her that her goal is to surpass her father, the URSA headquarters chief. Jean thanks him for the confidence boost, and they continue their shopping trip, eventually finding suitable presents. At a red light, Jean recalls how Kai once wandered into the demon graveyard when he was just 10 years old. Kai confirms this, explaining it happened during an inspection trip with her father. Jean remembers being surprised when Kai told her he saw Sid's sword there. Kai admits he no longer talks about it because no one would believe him. Jean thinks that's when Kai started feeling it was his duty to ensure demons don't emerge from the graveyard. Kai still feels this responsibility, and Jean acknowledges that this is why he will still be in the Humanity Aegis Agency in 2 years. As they cross the road, Jean asks Kai if he can predict where they will be in the future. Kai struggles to answer, and just then, he notices the world around him warping. He calls out to Jean, but she responds normally, making him realize that only he can see the changes. He panics as he sees something like a black hole sucking up the entire world except for him. A voice says the world is being overridden, and he finds himself in a destroyed version of the city. Confused, he encounters a demon. The demon attacks him with magic, but he blocks it using his weapon case. He manages to grab his gun sword and counters the demon's attack with modified elven bullets, explaining they were created using elven magic. The demon then attacks with a fire spell, but Kai dodges and takes it out with another bullet at close range, a modified Drake bullet that produces mythical beast breath. Kai realizes this is his first time fighting a demon and is relieved he can move as well as he does in training, confident he can handle demons. Another demon arrives, astonished that a human defeated a demon. Kai notices this demon is adept at speaking the human language. The demon explains that it's more effective to command their slaves using their own language. Kai is confused by this, and just as the demon tries to attack, Saki uses a flash bomb, and she and Ashran drive away after rescuing Kai. Saki reports the incident to her superiors and asks Kai where he is from. Kai is shocked to see her and notices she knows his name, but she doesn't remember him. He tries to jog her memory, but it doesn't work. He also realizes Ashran doesn't remember him. They wonder if Kai is still rattled by the demon attack. Devastated, Kai tells them they were in the same unit in the Humanity Aegis Agency, but they don't know what that is. They inform him they are soldiers of the Resistance, and he is surprised to find out he has never heard of them. Saki elaborates that they are part of the human rebel army, which leaves Kai completely bewildered. He asks them to explain more about this world, and Saki explains that there was a great war of the 5 races 30 years ago, and humanity lost. Cities around the world were taken over by the other 4 races, and humans are now barely surviving by running and hiding. Kai inquires if this destroyed city is Vishal, and they are relieved to see that at least he knows the city's name. As they continue on foot, Ashran tells him that the 4 races are currently fighting over each other's territories. The Urza Federation was taken over by demons, forcing them to abandon their cities and flee. They show Kai an underground city called Neo Vishal, explaining that they remodeled the intact underground spaces to protect humans and continue their resistance against the other races. Kai wonders why humanity lost the war in the first place, and Saki and Ashran think it's obvious. The other races are far more powerful. Each race also has a leader they refer to as heroes. When Kai asks about Sid the Prophet, they don't recognize the name. Kai tells them that Sid is supposed to be a human hero who defeated the other 4 heroes, but Ashran points out that they wouldn't be living like this if someone like that existed. They notice the arrival of the main core, which confuses Kai. Ashran explains that many human cities like Neo Vishal exist, each with a resistance garrison overseen by the main core. The commander of the resistance is a savior of the Urza Federation's people, and Kai is stunned to see that it's Jean. But in this world, Jean is a man. They report to Jean, who inquires about Kai. They explain that they secured Kai on the surface and that his memories are a bit hazy. Kai is shocked to see Jean as a man and tries to tell him about their recent shopping trip. But Jean has no idea what he's talking about. Kai is devastated that Jean doesn't remember him. When he tries to ask Jean why he is dressed as a man, this surprises Jean. Kai approaches, insisting it was her dream to surpass her father as a daughter. But a soldier from the main corps stops him. Jean and the others leave, and Saki and Ashran suggest Kai rest as he seems unwell. At night, Kai researches this world, noticing it is similar to his own, but there are no records of him or Sid the Prophet. He wonders if this is a world that lost the war because Sid didn't exist, but he notices that the graveyards are still around. The next morning, he asks Saki and Ashran about the graveyards, but they've never heard of them. Kai asks to borrow Ashran's car, and Ashran hands him the keys reflexively. Saki wonders what he's doing, but he drives to the graveyard. On the way, he notices demons closely monitoring urban areas. At the graveyard, he sees that the seal is open. He heads inside, thinking that Sid's shining sword might be there, and he finds the sword. Realizing the legends were true, he draws the sword. He then hears a voice instructing him not to relinquish the sword, called the code holder, as it is also the world coordinate key. A door opens in midair, and Kai steps through. He finds himself in a place resembling heaven and wonders where he is. He sees an altar with a chained girl on it. Unsure if she is an angel or a demon, he draws his sword. The girl, crying, asks him to release her, surprising Kai that she would seek help from a human. Considering that humans and the other races are locked in war, he is confused about what is happening. This brings an end to our episode 1. If you enjoyed it, then don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to our channel for more anime recaps.